Hello and welcome back to our Facebook Live. My name is Lisa. I'm Job Coach Germany, and I'm not here on my own today. I have a special guest. It's John from the Philippines, who is currently living in Hamburg, which is actually my favorite city in Germany. And I have the honor to interview him and ask him a couple of questions about his experiences that he's had so far living in Germany. And if you want to learn more about John, he has his own YouTube channel that is called theFilipinoHamburger, which is actually, of course, it makes sense because he's a Filipino living in Hamburg. Yay! But he can tell us a little bit more about that later on. So, John, what I've learned from your YouTube channel and the things that you share on your channel is basically very important facts about your experiences, about languages, about cultural differences. And these are the things that are definitely important to my audience as well, which is why I'm very happy to have you here. So welcome.
Well, Lisa, thank you very much again for this opportunity, for the invitation. And finally, after two attempts, it's now Hot Geek Club. It's working.
Yeah, now it's working, right?
So
Well,
yeah.
thank you very much for being so flexible and adjusting to our schedules here. So that's really great. So the first question that I actually have is, what motivated you to come to Germany in the first place?
Okay, so originally I came to Germany in 2013 to do my master's degree. So fortunately, I got a scholarship from the Catholic Church
Wow.
to do a master's degree for 2 years in the University of Erfurt at the Willy Brandt School of Public Policy. And yeah, 2013 was the May of 2013 exactly,
Uh-huh.
because part of my scholarship was a intensive German language school or training in Bonn, the
Oh,
former
wow.
capital of Germany. So
Yes, right. Okay. And this intensive course, how did that look like? So, you mean
we were
several days, several hours of learning German?
we were housed in a sort of like a boarding school
Ah, I
where
see.
you wake up, you go to a German class for 5 hours. I mean, including the breaks, and so that's your routine. You
Okay.
go back to the boarding school, lunch is ready, and you after lunch you do your homework.
Ah,
And
okay.
so 5 hours every day from Monday to Friday. And
Mhm.
so from May to end of September.
Oh, wow.
So
That's
that was really an
really
intensive.
intense.
Yeah, but if you are doing a PhD program, then you have longer time to do the course. I think it lasts for 6 months.
Ah, okay, I
In my
see.
case, it's just like four months or so.
Okay, and that was because you were doing the master's degree and it was part of your master's to do that.
Well, my master's was in English.
Yeah, that's
however, the organization think that's for us to be integrated in the society,
yeah,
German society, and for us to enjoy our life in Germany.
yeah.
Then it is very essential to learn the language.
Good
And
point.
the organization's lingua franca is German at all. I mean, German after all. And so we meet twice, 3 times a year with fellow scholars to talk on certain topics. And yeah, the language is in German. So
That is very interesting. I've never heard of that before, that you actually get an intense course for that long of a period. So sometimes I hear people that they say they do it for a month or 3 months, but then even longer. I mean, that helps you very much. And so you came to Erfurt, and did you have any knowledge of the German language before you came to Erfurt?
eins, zwei, drei, guten
Okay.
Morgen. Dankeschön.
Yes,
I
brilliant.
will bitte. Nein, aber
Yeah,
I
but
mean
still.
some words,
Okay.
because I have cousins in Hamburg, and from
Ah,
time to time I try to check words online. I was like, hey, hi, guten Morgen, and also back in my university in the Philippines, I tried to I how to call that? There's an elective course.
Mm-hmm.
German is like 2 hours a week. I mean,
Okay.
actually, it's not 2 hours. I think less than that. But then,
Mhm.
like enough to say eins, zwei, drei.
Yeah, perfect. So you already knew how the language sounds like, and okay, so you had a feeling for that. And then after the intensive course, what kind of German level did you have then?
I got, well, the last exam I had in Bonn was
Mhm.
B1.1,
Yeah,
B1. Nah?
yeah.
And so, unfortunately, when I moved to airport, I rarely use the language because the program is in English, and it was a program for international students
Ah,
from
yeah, okay.
70,
Yeah,
no, from 33 different countries. So,
yeah. There's no way of speaking German. I know that.
but I told myself, if I'm talking to my classmate who is from Germany or who is from Austria, I only speak with them in German.
Oh, that's brilliant. Oh,
I, I
that's
I don't
brilliant.
allow them to speak with me in English.
Yeah, okay. That's a good point. Yeah. I
Yeah,
used to have a flatmate from Italy, and she said, well, when I'm moving in with you, then I really would appreciate if you just spoke German with me, because otherwise I cannot learn the language. Okay, no problem. And I can see that because sometimes we Germans just want to practice our English as well.
exactly. Yeah,
So it's a little bit hard, but as long as you tell them that you want to learn the language,
yeah,
then obviously we put a little bit more effort into speaking German with you.
exactly.
Interesting. Wow. So from just saying one, two, or eins, zwei, drei, and guten Tag to B11 in such a short time. I mean, you had an intensive course, but that's really cool. And
Yeah.
just for you guys to know, so John and I, we met a couple of minutes earlier also online, and I heard him speak German, and it's brilliant. I can talk to him like with friends, so I don't have to slow down my language, and this is really impressive. And
That's
from
really
what
good.
I've heard from your YouTube channel as well, you are very interested into languages, and you know so many languages. Why is that? How do you know so many languages?
Well, according to friends, I have talent in learning languages because I don't know. Once I'm interested, I just learn it, and I travel during my free time,
Mhm.
and so for me, when I visit the country, it's very important for me to connect with the locals.
Yeah,
The best way to learn about the culture is speaking their language too. So
that's
the
true.
best way to connect with the people, you have to learn their language or you have to speak their. I mean, it doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't
Yeah,
need to be perfect, but they will appreciate it. They
yeah,
will appreciate it if you know the language. And
yeah.
so with my Spanish, it was a funny story because when I was learning my German, I was with fellow scholars from Latin America.
Mhm.
And they thought, oh, Philippines, a former colony of Spain. You speak Spanish. I was like, and they were, at that time, they were having trouble speaking in English and German. So Spanish was really their comfort zone. So they were talking to me in Spanish every single day. And after 2 months, they were like, hey, Juan, your Spanish is better than your German. And I was like, oh, is that a good thing? Or I mean, I'm here to learn German, not to learn Spanish. And when I moved to airport, my friends are all from Latin America, and so,
Okay.
and when I talk to them, I speak Spanish, and that's
Yeah.
how I developed my language.
Wow, that's really cool. And you're really passionate about that. I'm very impressed. That's so cool. But I know the feeling of trying to integrate into a culture, and it just simply helps if you know the language. And
Yeah,
even if just showing that you're putting an effort into it, even if it, as you say, that there might be some mistakes, but that's not the issue. The thing is
exactly.
just showing that you're trying. And
Exactly. Once the locals see
mhm,
your effort of trying to learn their language, they would appreciate it. I'm like,
yeah,
wow. I mean, of course, you came here, and so you adjust. It's not the
yeah,
other way around.
yeah, that's
Because at
true.
times there are people who think, okay, I'm moving to Germany, but people
Mm,
speak English. I was like,
yeah,
it's so arrogant of you to think that way. I
yeah,
mean, you
yeah,
have to adjust and not them. And that's
yes.
that's why I always emphasize the importance of
Mhm.
learning the local language.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great advice that you're giving here. So many nuggets. That's cool. Thank you. And so you said that you came to Erfurt in 2013. And have you ever returned back home since then for
Yeah,
a longer period?
I told my parents, okay, mom, dad, after my master's degree, I'll just stay for 3 months and then I will be back home. And that was 2015 and we're now 2021. I'm still in Germany. And my dad was like, I thought you're coming home. I was like, yeah, for Christmas. And I
Okay.
told my mom just 2 weeks ago. I was like, yeah, I think I will stay here for longer. And she was somehow happy, but then I heard some disappointment from the
Yeah.
way she talked. And I was like, oh, that made me sad. But she was
Yeah.
supportive and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, our parents always just want the best for what is best for us. And even though they are probably crying that we're leaving, they still know, okay, it's a great opportunity that you have. So they support you. Okay. So, and then in 2013, you started your master's degree, right? So, and it took you 2 years or?
Exactly.
And then from what I've researched or learned from you is that you started working with a youth NGO, right? How
Exactly.
did you get that job?
Well, the former study program coordinator of our master's program used to work in this NGO. And
Ah,
so there was a project. There was a project funded by the funded by the European Commission through the Erasmus Plus program. And she
mhm.
was like, "Hey, there's a project, and we are looking for a project assistant. Are you interested?" It was just a short-term project for 1 week or 10 days. And I
Ah,
was like, "Okay, why not?" I'm currently looking for opportunities now, and then who am I to say no to opportunities? You know.
mhm.
So I took the chance and I enjoyed it. And she was like, "Hey, there are more projects coming in spring. I mean, if you are interested, you can work with us. I mean, with a small amount of money." And I said, I don't care how big or how small is that. I want the experience.
Yeah,
I want to learn. I want to gain experience. I want to build up my credentials.
yeah.
And
Wow.
that's it. And then so initially I just wanted to stay there for a couple of months, but I ended up staying there for 3 years
Wow.
organically.
Great. And
Because eventually I started developing my own project, writing project applications and then implementing them. And that's also allowed me to travel around Europe because these are
ah,
European projects
mm,
and with partners from Spain, from the Balkan region, from Eastern Europe, Baltic, and
yeah.
it was a beautiful opportunity.
Wow. And when we're talking about youth NGO, that means the people that you were responsible for or you were organizing these trips for were teenagers.
Yeah, depending on the project, we have different how do you call that, target groups. And
Okay.
so we had, for example, summer camp on
Hmm.
information technology or robot coding topics.
Ah,
And then the target group was, I think, kids between 11 and 15 years old.
okay.
For the other programs, we have 18 to 30 years old,
Okay. Yeah,
So
okay. Yeah, yeah, I
that,
see.
that target group.
Ah, that's interesting because from what I expected, I thought a summer camp, yeah, okay, so people get together and just have fun around the fireplace, but they actually were
They were
learning
learning. I
camp.
mean, that project about robotics and coding at the
Mhm.
end, the participants, or we chose the best party, or not the best participant, but I don't want to use the words best, but then the
Yeah,
participants to send and represent Germany in the
yeah.
competition in Cyprus.
Ah,
And for
okay.
other youth exchanges, we have topics such as anti-racism, no, against hate speech online, such topics, political issues.
Yeah,
We dealt with us as well in the youth exchanges that we organized.
yeah, okay. That's brilliant, interesting. And then, so you stayed there for 3 years, and then what happened next?
And what happened next? I said, okay, I want more. I want bigger challenge now. I think I'm ready to face a bigger world. So from a small city in airport, I moved to Hamburg because
Okay.
I got a job opportunity in a university nearby. It's the
Yeah.
University of Lüneburg, Leuphana Universität.
Ah, yeah.
I worked there for 2 years as a student program coordinator for an international master's degree in governance and human rights.
Oh, this is so interesting. My brother used to work for the same company. That's interesting.
Oh, maybe I know him.
He only did an internship last year for half a year. But that was really cool. I actually thought about studying at the Loyola University before. That's interesting. Really cool. Okay. And
Yeah,
then,
I was coordinating an international master's program attended by professionals in the field of governance and human rights who are already working because it's a how do you call that, an online program,
okay.
part-time online program for professionals.
Okay. So that basically means they were already on the job and
Exactly.
had probably already had a degree and they
And
were
now
really,
they wanna improve. Maybe they want a better opportunity for them in the workplace, so they are doing a Weiterbildung or a lifelong learning
yeah. Oh,
program.
interesting.
And so
So that
yeah,
means they were a little bit older already.
yeah. I mean, so the average I would say would be 30
Yeah, okay.
years old. People working in German Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs,
Oh, wow.
working in international organizations,
Yeah,
United Nations.
yeah.
This kind of work of area.
Wow, that's interesting. Wow. And okay, and then how long did you stay there for that job?
It's only for 2 years. Unfortunately, the contract is only for 2 years,
Oh,
and
yeah, okay, but that's typical if you're working with
with
universities.
university.
Yeah. Mm,
So before the contract ended, I started looking for another job. I mean,
okay.
I don't wanna starve, especially when the pandemic happened. I was like, oh my god, I'll be starving. I will
Yeah.
start traveling. But then, yeah, fortunately, fortunately, I got a new job. I found a job. It's in a. I don't know if I can mention
Yeah.
the name of the hospital here, but
You don't have to say it's
yeah,
just
it's
what
a
kind of
it's a
industry
big
you work in.
hospital chain in Germany.
Yeah.
I think it's a private one. It's the biggest private one
Okay.
in Germany,
Mhm.
and they opened a new Abteilung or department, which
Mhm.
is called the integration department. And
Okay.
so our main goal there is to integrate international nurses or
Ah,
medical staff.
that's interesting.
So that's the role of the department,
Mhm.
helping the international nurses from the Philippines, from India, from Brazil, from Mexico, from Egypt, Tunisia, all over, from Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
They come here and then boom, we guide them all throughout until they feel integrated in the workplace and in their new home, which is Hamburg.
Wow, that is so cool. So basically, you can apply everything that you've learned and the skills that you've experienced throughout your practical background and work experience. You can apply that in any kind of industry. That is so good. You're a star.
It is.
That's
It is. It was. I didn't plan it, but when I think about it now, things just fall into places.
yeah, yeah,
And
that's true.
it's like the different pieces of puzzle,
Yeah.
but eventually, it made sense why I did that.
Yes.
Like, it connected me to do that and this and that, and
Yeah.
now I'm just happy where I am at the moment.
Yeah, that's great. And how did you actually find the job? Did you find the job online?
I did online. Oh my God. When the pandemic started,
Yeah,
and then when I see that my contract is, I mean, there's no really hope of
yeah,
renewing the contract.
yeah,
No one can change that.
yeah.
I started like searching every morning, every afternoon, before work, after work,
Mhm.
weekend, writing, sending a lot of applications,
Okay.
losing hope. And again, I'm staying positive and staying optimistic. I was like, no, there will always be a light at the end of the tunnel.
Brilliant. Oh, what a great attitude. That's perfect. I know this whole job searching process can be very dreadful and can make you very desperate at points, but it's great that you keep up your motivation. That's cool.
Can also make you feel super depressed
Yeah.
because after many rejection, you were like, wait,
Yeah.
am I not really good enough? Am
Yeah.
I not recognized? It's like, what am I doing wrong here?
Yeah.
And I always tell myself and I always tell my friends, sometimes it's not about your qualification, it's about also the perfect timing.
Yes.
It's timing sometimes. And I think I mentioned it in one of my videos. We get rejection not because or we get no not because we're rejected, but because we're just being redirected.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's
so
great.
I keep telling my friends that, hey, you get that rejection, it's okay. You will
Yeah,
get better one.
that's perfect.
Might
Okay.
take time, but
And
eventually
then and the job applications that so the cover letter and the CV that you've written, was that in German or in English?
both.
Both. Okay,
because I
okay.
was because I also expanded my
Yeah.
my coverage. I mean, if I have just focused on jobs in English,
Mhm.
for sure I will find something
Yeah.
as well. But then I see online or I saw online that there are a lot of jobs which I could apply for,
Yeah.
and they are in German. So I was like, okay, let me apply in German. So what my style was, I translated all my documents, my curriculum vitae, and
Yeah.
my cover letter in German, and I asked German friends to give me feedbacks like, hey, are
What?
there any things that I need to improve here? Is this fitting to the German market, labor market, or not?
Mhm.
Because that's also another thing that we have to consider.
Yes.
Our curriculum vitae or our cover letter in the Philippines may not be same or fitting in German labor market, and that's very important to us, a German who has already worked. And it's
Mhm.
like, hey, is this German enough? Or so that helped me. My German friends helped me to improve my cover letter and
Yeah, oh,
curriculum
that's
vitae.
really good. It's great that you have a supportive team behind you so that you can actually check whether that's all right or not. Because
That's
that's what I experience most of the times, that people even don't even know that there is a difference between applying in a different country and the expectations of German companies and German recruiters. And the job interview for your job now, was that in German or in English?
my job interview in Loifana and here in my current job were done in German.
Oh, wow.
Loifana shifted it in English at some point because
Yeah.
it's an international program.
Yeah,
But
okay.
then here in my new job now, it was just in German.
Just
And
in German. Wow,
sometimes
this is
you have to, your personality changes.
yeah, that's
Depends on the language you use.
that's true. That's true. That's what I always say. It's really that's interesting. But even like being a German, going to a job interview, we are very nervous and excited, and it's just like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? But now that that's one of the languages that you speak, but not your first language, and then going to a job interview, that's crazy. But that's really
It is. It's nerve wracking
yeah,
and it's just crazy. But then eh,
yeah.
you have time to prepare.
Yes. Yeah, right. And I think that's the most important part that I always say. As long as you're well prepared and you did everything on your end that is possible to do in order to be prepared for the job interview, then there's nothing that you can be ashamed of that or that you can be afraid of.
Exactly.
But that's really you've mastered basically the the final stage, the, the it was the end game, and then you managed it and you got the job, so congratulations, that's
I mean, prior
brilliant.
to this one, I've been also to different job interviews
Ah,
of Deutsch or in German,
yeah.
and it was just interesting because, like what you said, it's not my first language. It's something I learn and still learning.
Mm.
Sometimes you want to talk more, you
Yeah,
want to express more, but because your vocabulary is limited,
yeah,
and it's like, okay, that's enough.
yeah, that's great. Okay, well, but I'm very happy for you that you that everything fell into place for you and that you're happy, and even in the midst of a pandemic found a job and you are happy with it now, and it just makes sense for your career, the position that you have right now. And have you ever encountered any cultural misunderstanding while being in Germany?
Uh, um, Cultural misunderstanding per se, I don't think so, but maybe adjustment.
Yeah. Okay.
One of the major adjustments that I had to do is to be less sensitive.
Okay.
Filipinos are sensitive.
Yeah.
Germans are direct.
Yeah.
They tell you what they think right there and then. They don't
Yeah.
care about your emotion. They care about the job that you deliver.
Yeah.
So I have to learn that. I mean, not that I'm a hard stone now. My heart turned into a hard stone, but
Yeah.
you just have to be more understanding. Okay,
Yes.
it's not a personal attack. It's their That's the way they talk. That's the way they behave. And
Mhm.
me, okay, I should not be having this self pity now. I mean, I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid or what? Oops, sorry.
That's okay.
Someone is calling. I'm not stupid or not, but then I, I just have to understand them.
Yeah.
And
It's
so
not.
yeah, this is one of the major
Yeah.
adjustments.
I think that's really the hardest part, understanding that once we Germans are direct, we don't attack you personally. It's just that we want to make this job work efficiently. And
Exactly.
but I think that's a process that you have to
A
go through.
process. It's a process. You don't start from day one and you
Yeah,
will like, okay, now I'm immune from the German directness. No, no, no. It's a process. It's
yeah,
a process. And for me, the more I was exposed to Germans being direct to me, the more I learned it. And I was like, oh, okay. So now when I talk to them, there's like, oh, you're more German than me now. I was like, oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, perfect. But that's really good that you say that you can adjust to that, because that's sometimes a thing that I'm wondering whether it's actually possible to live with that directness of the Germans, that sometimes can feel rude. But that's great to see. And so, and is there, so in your private life or in your work life, an area that you still want to improve, or what is something that you're researching the most for yourself currently?
Well, improving my language
Oh, still. Okay.
improving my language skills, and sometimes trying to or reading resources on how to improve my public speaking skills. And I mean, how to interact with people, how
Yeah.
to connect with people, how to network with people.
Yeah.
Because I think this is one of the skills that you have to develop, especially if you want a career in international level.
Yeah, that's true. And it's, I think one of your videos is also about body language. Yeah. So this is part about that. So I actually have to look at that again, because this is something that I'm interested in as well. It's just so interesting. Just like language learning, it's the same also for body language, right?
Yeah, speaking of body language, I think that's a cultural misunderstanding I had in a club, because in the Philippines, if
Okay.
you point a direction, you use we most of the time we use our lips. Like, hey, for example, where's Lisa? Just pointing, Lisa is there. And
Ah,
then a lady asked me, where's the toilet? And I was pointing, and she was like, excuse me. I said, oh no, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm not showing, or I don't want to kiss you. And she was like, no, no, no. It was just so funny.
it's interesting. That is so funny. Okay. Yeah, I've never heard of that before, but that's good to know.
Body language is also important, and the way you move and the body gesture.
Yeah,
Be
that
careful, otherwise you might be in trouble.
that's really funny. Yeah, true. That is true. Cool. That's really good for me to know if I ever encounter a Filipino and then
Yeah, that Filipino
ask.
doesn't want to kiss you. He
No,
or she
no, it's
point
okay. Just
in a
this.
direction or something.
It's interesting. Okay. And is there any advice that you can give anyone who is thinking about moving to Germany?
Well, for those who wants to move, or if you are planning to move here in Germany, just just be ready.
Mm.
Be ready with the differences.
Yeah,
Okay, be ready with the differences. Be ready to be open-minded,
yeah,
and most of all, be ready to learn.
yeah.
No, we should never stop learning. Learning takes place every single day or
Mm,
every second. And so moving here, aside from the language, you learn the culture, you learn the mentality, you
mm,
learn how to live happily without compromising your culture
yeah.
and without ignoring theirs too, but
Mm.
finding, learning to find compromise.
Aw, that's so nice of you to say. That's a great thing. That's great advice. Thank you so much. So, and now, if the people who have seen this video or are still seeing it in the future want to learn more about you and want to see you and everything that you can share with them about your experiences, where can they follow you? Where can they find you?
Well, I started this YouTube channel, which is the Filipino Hamburger. You can search it online. I mean, on the YouTube, and there I provide tips and advices on on and how to study abroad and how to live abroad,
Mm,
how to travel. So that one, and also the Filipino Hamburger is also on Facebook. So
mm.
just look for
Perfect. Thank
Facebook.
you so much. So I will also link underneath the video. I will put the links to your YouTube and your Facebook channel so that the people can find you easily. John, thank you so much for taking the time talking to me. It was so interesting and so much fun. I really enjoyed our session here. And I followed you on YouTube already, so I'm looking forward to all of your videos and the great input that you give there. So I greatly appreciate that you supported me here on my channel, and thank you very much and have a wonderful weekend.
No, no, Lisa, thank you. Thank you also for reaching out, for inviting me, and it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure to share my experience to people, and I hope we somehow inspire
Yeah.
one of those watching us here now. And yeah,
Okay.
looking forward to collaborating with you next time. Feel free to contact me.
All right, I will do. Thank you
Yeah,
so much,
and
John.
have a
And
nice weekend too, nah?
you
Ciao.
too. Cheers.